Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. We still have few minutes to 6 o'clock here in Tartu. So we are at the moment waiting, while people are joining, and then in few minutes we will start. So it's 6 o'clock and it's time to start. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, depending on where you are. Today, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Applied Measurement Science program at University of Tartu. And I am the program director of this program. And of course, you are more than welcome to ask anything besides just listening to what I have to say. And I will then do my best to answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. But now let's get started. Measurements in this context, we understand in the broadest possible sense. It's about determining the amount of toxic metals in drinking water, maybe cholesterol level in blood, but also all kinds of technological measurements like viscosity, strength of materials, etc. Also nutritional, such as, for example, protein content in wheat. So measurements are numerous, highly diverse, and actually their diversity is constantly increasing. So people develop new things that should be measured all the time. And the importance of measurements cannot be overstated. Critical economic, medical, social, etc. Decisions are based on measurements. And to highlight this, one can say that roughly 40% of the European Union law or European Union directives involve measurements. What that means is that somebody somewhere has to be able to make those measurements in order to enforce law. And also as just a share of economy, it again has been estimated that roughly 80 billions of euros, or roughly 1% of the gross domestic product of Europe, is made up by measurements. So it's a huge branch of economy. And if we add indirect costs to these direct costs, then actually this figure still raises considerably. And very importantly, although measurements are important already now, it can be very surely stated that this importance is constantly increasing. And this has been well recognized. A few years ago, the American Chemical Society, which is one of the most prominent societies, professional societies in the world, issued such a booklet or a material, Top 10 Trends Driving Science. It's not available from the original address now anymore, but you can download it from the address that you can see here in the slides. And there, the American Chemical Society experts have identified 10 most important things for the science. And one of the key findings was that measurement, let's say accuracy, measurement reliability is one of those. And they clearly stated that we are living in a golden age of measurement science. Well, quite nicely said, yeah. And what perhaps might interest you quite a bit is how is it with jobs, career after you graduate from this program. And again, surveys reveal that in this area, there's much larger demand from the job market than actually the supply by the higher education institutions. I will come back to that towards the end of the presentation, but this really is an area, or this really is a field where you should not really worry about whether you will find a job. No. And this has been demonstrated by numerous studies and numerous publications, which all essentially reach the same conclusion, that it really is an important field and there is a shortage of people, not abundance. Now, if we come to this program, then it's an interdisciplinary program. And it is something as we call here 3+2 master's degree program, meaning it's a 2-year program, 120 ECTS, which comes on top of typically 3 years of bachelor studies. And this interdisciplinarity or multidisciplinarity is reflected here. So it embraces physical measurements, chemical measurements, metrology, science of measurement, quality management, very importantly, and also economic, societal, and legal aspects of measurement. So that the education that you get from this program is really with very broad applicability. And this is something I will also later on demonstrate to you by where our graduates have found jobs. And as you perhaps might expect, tuition in this program is in English, as in most international programs. And in very, let's say, in very broad sense, we could say that this program embraces 3 different categories: chemical analysis or chemical measurements, then physical measurements, and then quality, socioeconomic aspects, law, etc. And here you can briefly see the list of courses. I'm not going to speak about each and every one of them. I don't think it makes much sense. However, if anybody is interested specifically in any of these courses, I will be more than happy to answer any questions about any of them. Let me just say that the courses are divided into obligatory, meaning you all have to take all of these, and then electives. There's a long list of courses that you can choose from, and then some other optional thing, or sorry, not optional, but some other things which are explained in the next slide. So a very important part of this program is practical placement, or internship, as it is called otherwise. Internship means that during maybe a month or two, you will work at the laboratory or at industry, seeing what the real life looks like in this case, meaning the real professional activities, the real professional life. Then there's the optional subjects, which can be anything. So in the volume of 6 ECTS credits, you have the freedom to choose anything that is interesting for you. And finally, then there's the master thesis. Master thesis, which carries 30 ECTS credits. And in this university, master thesis is quite let's say, serious thesis. It's a real research work. It cannot be done just on the basis of literature search. You have to do some real research in some real research group. That will also be important. I'll come to that in a few minutes. And it really has to have at least some scientific value, meaning it has to be at least potentially publishable. You probably will not manage to publish it before defending the thesis, but that's not a problem. And many of those theses, they actually will not be published, but they must be publishable, meaning their quality must be sufficient to being published in some peer-reviewed journal. Now, let me say something about some key people. As I already said, I am the one who directs this, so that if you happen to come here to study in this program, then I will try to guide you with which courses to choose, what would be your master thesis topic, how to find the research group, and so on and so forth. And then we have our administrative coordinator, Anu Tearu, and she will help you with all kinds of administrative things, admission documents, transfer of credits, bank account, and all those things, study agreements, and so on and so forth. And we are both, me and Anu, we are located in the Chemicum facility. And then we have a very good support service for international students, the Study Abroad Center, who manages all kinds of things linked to visa, residence permit, dormitory, etc. They are very helpful. They reply very fast, and you can get very good support from them. Actually, University of Tartu has constantly ranked among the best universities in terms of support for international students. Now, this program is not free of charge. It has tuition fee. And we do not have tuition waiver scholarships for this program. However, what we do have is some other scholarships, which you can find from this link. And actually, most importantly, which I would recommend most, is that once you find the research group, you work hard on your thesis, and then many of the research group leaders, if not most, have grants, research grants. And those grants typically have funds specifically meant for paying stipends to students. So that getting a research stipend from your research group is perhaps the most logical way of getting some financial support if you need. A typical question that people ask is that whether they can find a job and work here in Tartu for earning money. So yes, it is legally allowed, but there might be obstacles. First of all, language. Although Estonia displays itself as a very international country, and in many ways it is, yeah. But when it comes to jobs, Estonia is actually pretty Estonian, because for many jobs, you actually need to be able to speak Estonian language. Probably most of you will not be able. But second possible obstacle is time. You will have lectures, seminars, and practicals on most days of the week. So that, for example, full-time job, I just cannot imagine how you could take while studying in this program. And I would say that also part-time job is certainly a challenge. But there have been several successful cases where people who have been studying in applied measurement science have at the same time worked part-time and have been able to earn some money. But it's very important to carefully consider your time and also your abilities so that you don't overstretch yourself. Now, I promised to say something more about the jobs, and I already said that this is a field where there is a big shortage of educated people, and that new jobs and new job possibilities are also created constantly. And if you are interested, then this address leads you to our career outlook page, where you can see some testimonials from some people who have graduated from applied measurement science, and you can see what they are doing. And there you also find a long list of different positions that our people are our graduates are either holding now or have been holding. And if you look, there are all kinds of regulatory affairs, manager, assistant director, head of quality assurance, project manager, head of laboratory, etc. So there are a number of, let's say, very okay and very, very nice positions. And we try to keep track of what our graduates are doing. And here is some small outtake from LinkedIn, the LinkedIn social media platform. And you can see that some people, for example, Hedi is working as the Chief Quality Assurance Officer at Chemifarm, which is an Estonian pharmaceutical industry. Emeka is working at Tesla in Berlin. Elvin is working in Iceland, in Reykjavik, at the bioprocess development facility. Ruta is a bioanalytical chemist and quality specialist in Frankfurt, etc., etc. So you find lots of interesting jobs that the people are holding. And also what I haven't specifically put here, but many, perhaps close to half of the graduates continue in doctoral studies. So that applied measurement science is also good in the sense that since it gives you both physics and chemistry education, you can go to PhD in physics, chemistry, and in principle also something like, let's say, laboratory management, quality assurance, etc., etc. And here is a small outtake of the career outlook page of our program. And this brings me to the end of these slides. The slides you can download from the materials section of this webinar. I cannot exactly say how you see it, because I see it in a different way. I'm in a different system here from you. But there should be a link to the materials where you can download these slides. And now I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. If no questions at this moment, no problem. Yeah, you can reflect upon these things. Yeah? And some of you might also look at this. I see now. Yeah, there is a question. So, is there any possibility to learn Estonian language online? I'm almost sure there is, but I'm sadly not able to answer that. But if you go to the lobby chat, there is such a thing here in this system as lobby chat. Please type that question there. And there will be people who will be very easily will be able to answer you. But Estonian language is not very easy language, yeah? So that on purely online, not so easy to learn. Yeah, but you can certainly try. I certainly encourage you to try. So, any other questions, anybody? Let me type also here the answer. So, any questions, anybody? Apparently not. Yeah. In that case, many thanks for participating. Yeah. And we will now close this webinar.